Alright, I'm going to show you how to get to the end of a hunter cleared tribute instance. So once the king is killed, most of the mobs are not going to be aggro. You can tell this by hovering over them and them not having a sword, they will not be aggro. The first pack that is aggro is this pack on the left, so you want to avoid them by helping up on this ledge and continuing about. If you are a lower level and you happen to aggro them, just reset behind this pillar and then continue on your way. In this courtyard there will be two guards that you want to avoid. Cromcrush, who just stands in the middle, and Fengus, who pats about. In addition to this, there are bugs on this northern side, both here, down the ramp, and up in this corner. You want to avoid them, even if you have the king buff, because they will aggro. There also may be a Warpwood pod right about here that has a chance at spawning lashers, so also avoid that. Going down this hallway, there are a couple things to mention. One, the Doom Guard that is with the Warlock, even though it has a sword, is not aggro. If you were to attack it, it would attack you back, and then it would reset a moment later. It may attack your pet initially as well, but again, it will reset. There's also an Eye of Kilrog that may be active, and if it has a sword over it, you need to kill it. Otherwise, it will spawn a couple of blueberries, and that will kind of ruin the instance until they are killed. They also see through stealth, so that's another reason why they should be killed. Like, rogues wouldn't be able to get by. There's another Warpwood pod that spawns right there. So again, this one has a sword, so I'm going to kill it. If you just interrupt it, you don't have to do the full damage. It'll kill it completely. Now for Slipkick, you kind of want to stand here. If you're level 60, he won't aggro onto you if you're standing here, and then he gets to right about here, and that's when you want to skirt along this wall in the opposite direction, and you'll be safe. The window isn't that small, so you know, he can come even closer to you before you start moving. You just want to, in general, move in the opposite direction of him when he's further away from the wall. At this point, there may also be another eye, or actually it was just that same Eye of Kilrog that I just killed. So at this point, you are really home free. So there are a couple packs that I do clear as a hunter. The first one is right beneath that ramp, right about where Slipkick is passing under. Those may respawn if the instance has been open a long time. There's that bug pack just as you get into Slipkick's room, which also, again, is aggro regardless of whether or not you have the king buff. And then there are two Reavers within this pack that will also aggro. So if any of these have respawned, you know, avoid them if you can, or let the person know. And then lastly, there is a pat of 3 dogs that pats about, that if they've respawned, they will also attack you. Once you finally have the king buff, you can go back and get all the buffs. Most normal cleared tribute instances have a Slipkick stuck in the frost or freezing trap. With this method, you want to be careful about where you stop Slipkick to get his buff, because he will stay in the same spot for just a few minutes, which may, if other people are coming in to get buffs, make it so that those people cannot continue on their way until he starts moving again. So I will point out whereabout you should stop him so that people can continue to run through to get buffs. So this spot is, again, right about where he turns. So he's going to double back, come around, and then I'm going to stop him right where he turns, right about here. Again, one of the aggro packs is right here. There's a pair of them. They will pull together. And then there's a big pack of bugs right over here. So he turns, and I'll stop him right there. That way, people who are coming in for buffs can safely get by. This Eye of Kilrog right up here, because I have the king buff, will not be aggro. But it's best to mark it if you're on your way out. That way people who are coming in know that there is one and they can keep an eye out for it. Similar to Slip Kick, it is best to stop Fengus in a good spot, somewhere out of the way. Some people like skirting around this way instead, and just, you know, use common sense to determine where you think would be a good place to stop it. Like, you don't want to stop it at the bottom of this ramp so people can't go through that hallway. So this would be a fine place to stop it, get the buff, and continue on. If you want any Stamboos, you can buy some from Stomper Krieg, who's over in this corner. And then lastly, there is the Stam buff guy, who is down in this courtyard. And that is how you get buffs or get into a Hunter cleared Tribute instance.